This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and we're going to be talking about Fat Joe today. He told a detailed story of when he got a deal for $10 million. I don't know when he got a deal for $10 million, but maybe it's possible because Fat Joe's been in the music game dropping records since like 1991. So he was in there when things were... when they were just handed money. I think even DJ Clue got $8 million. I don't know if he got the whole $8 million, but he got an $8 million deal. I don't know if it was all given out. He might, because maybe it was per album. He was going to get a certain amount of money, but it was for Desert Storm Records. This is where DJ Envy released his first album. Anyways, this is about when rappers get a lot of money. Not just rappers, entertainers get a lot of money. And they run out of money in the beginning. And, you know, we've all done that on a low scale. Like, when I was first making money with DVDs and everything, I blew all my money at one point. And then, you know, you come back and you learn from, on the next go-around, Fat Joe remembers when he used to... so he got that maybe he accumulated $10 million or he got a $10 million deal. But he had a ton of money. And he wanted to keep it real, quotation marks. We've heard this story from a lot of people, with not just about Fat Joe, about everybody, where they try to be real with everybody, like get them cars, give people money. And a lot of people have their hands out when they didn't do anything to get you to where you're at. And Fat Joe says he blew a whole $10 million. So he kept going in, getting like 10, 50 grand out, spending it all day on people, getting people cars, getting people this. And you can't just buy people cars. I mean, there's like a lot of implications that come with that, So like, anyways, he was doing that. And eventually one day he said he went in to get money and there was no money left. And he had to like preserve the little bit of money that was left. I think he said he had like $250,000 left. Then he had to go back out and hustle and make a couple million again, And this happens. T-Pain even had this happen to him where he was just spending. He didn't have the right managers around him and he wasn't paying attention to his money and he ran out of $40 million. Now, T-Pain has a lot more hit records, so I think his money came back through that. And obviously, T-Pain got to work. He said that happened around 2011, 12, and then, he was able to make it all back eventually, But, man, that can happen. You can run through your money. I don't care who you are. It happened to me at a low level. I wasn't trying to help, I tried to help a few people, but with entertainment, you don't know when you're going to have a dry spell. That's why you got to save. You got to save. You got to say, if you got a check for $100,000, you should put $50,000 away immediately and never touch it. Because you do not know when you're going to need to start tapping in to your rainy day fund to get you to the next hustle. And Fat Joe, I don't know how that happened where he ran through his money like that, but it did. I guess he just wasn't paying attention, or I don't know. $10 million is a lot of money to run through, but we've seen Mike Tyson. He ran through $400 million, and he had to hustle to get that, make money back, So this is just a word of wise. Be smart with your money, and no matter what age you are. Don't act like it's going to be there forever, because it won't. No hustle is forever. Things change. You got to change with the times. So it's just a word of wise that you got to just take your money, be smart with it, take care of it as if it's a baby, check on it. Make sure you can afford. Don't spend more than you're making, first of all, and don't spend even more than half of you should only spend, if you can. If you're making a lot of money in lumps, a quarter of your money. Sometimes you got to go over that when you're working on a project, like you bought a house or something, but you should make sure. I know a lot of people that I've been in financial trouble before, right? And the thing I learned is that your monthly overhead should only be really a quarter of what you're making, you know? So your mortgage, any kind of like things that come with your house, electricity, you know, food, all that stuff, you know, should only be a quarter of what you're making, you know? So say you're making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, you should really keep it down to like $1,500 for everything. It's hard. It's harder when it's lower like that. Like you got to really get it to like 2, but like you should never go over half. But ideally, 33, let's say 33% of your income should be towards living every month. You should be saving the rest. And, you know, once you get over a good 2 years of living, I would say, then you can spend a little bit. But you should always try to get to a point where you have 2 years of living on hand. It's hard. It takes discipline. But if you can get there, you'll always have a rainy day fund. You always have a buffer to where if something does happen, you can squirrel out of that. I make sure I always keep about 2 to 3 years of living on hand now, because I've been through dry spells. Like, you know, when I got it with WorldStar, me and Q teamed up and we made WorldStar big. I eventually got to a point where I had, I don't know, 6 or 7 years of living on hand. And that came in handy when I decided to part ways in 2012. And I decided to shift into commercials for a while. That took me a while to break into that. And then I broke into other things, you know, but I was so happy I had saved that money, because if I hadn't, I would have been, things would have dried up and my spending wouldn't have adjusted right, you know? So other times, let's see, did I have another time with that? I just that learned from that experience. Really, when I ran out of money after doing DVDs and getting into the internet stuff, my money was really tight, you know? And that taught me a lot. Things got a little bit tight around the commercial times, but, you know, I figured it out eventually. But it got a little scary, you know, but I had a buffer. Always keep a buffer zone of money. At least try to keep $10,000 tucked away. I know it's hard. Trust me. It's so easy to say. I know it's easy to say, but you can get there with discipline and time. And meaning discipline, meaning keeping your expenses down. Rent something that's cheap so you can save more, you know? Just put it in the bank and put it in a savings account, separate from your checking. Keep things separate and slowly squirrel away. Even if you got to do $200 to $500 a month, you'll get there over 2 years. You know, you'll get there. And then it'll feel better. You'll have a little bit of breathing room. There's no quick way to flip money. Sometimes there is, but usually when it sounds too good to be true, it is. Always remember that too. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that story with you because it's good to know that people that you even look up to have had money troubles before. We all go through it. It's Jordan Tower, JT News. Smash that like button. I'll check you on the next one. Appreciate you.